Oilers, you got a great offense with Connor McDavid. So I have them sweeping them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you heard my point. The San Francisco Giants have 3 more in the 2010s than the Rangers have in their entire history. So, yeah.
It's hard to get back and to get back-to-back wins, and I don't see the Lightning doing it here, so I have them losing to the Hurricanes in 6.
We don't talk about the 2010s because the 2010s had the Astros, and if the Astros didn't happen, the Yankees would have won in 2017 with the Dodgers.
He was close to Frank Reich, and they want Frank Reich back, so that's what they got. It's their discount Frank Reich.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew, Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more.
Hi, this is Julie Dobbs. You're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man who you could say could be tortured by this deadline or the lack of activity at this deadline, Austin.
I don't know about tortured. We're have to wait and see because it definitely is a less than ideal deadline to this point. I expected a little bit more moves, but that's okay. Hopefully the deadline will be a lot more eventful.
Yeah, I don't think we see a star moved. Like last year it was Kevin Durant at the 11th hour. Year before, I remembered, was James Harden. Oh, and Kyrie was moved last year too. So I'm interested. But it just seems like some teams aren't willing to deal, and some players don't have a great. It doesn't seem like the right time to trade players. But for our list, we're doing NBA players that need to be traded, and I'm curious what your list, Austin, looks like, because we did separate lists, and we may have one or two names, but I don't feel we're gonna have the same 5.
I don't think we will either. I doubt it.
All right, I'll let you go first.
So my first player is a player on the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan. He does not fit the timetable. I'm sure you have him on your list, but he needs to be moved.
Yes, I agree. I have DeMar DeRozan. That was a name where I'm pretty sure we're gonna go with the same guy
Didn't
here.
both of the trades we make have DeMar in it?
No, yes, because I had DeMar going to, I think maybe the Warriors.
Yeah, I believe that was what you had.
Just because he's an unrestricted free agent, Zach LaVine is out. The Bulls should just send it in, think about the future, and that's why I also had Alex Caruso. I think it seems like his value is pretty high right now, and with DeMar, you're doing it because he's on a deal. I believe Caruso has another year or so. I don't think he's a free agent. So it's something to where I'm going 2 for 1. But yeah, DeMar needs to get traded. The Bulls can get something back. He'd be benefit to the team, but it's just with the Bulls. He doesn't fit your timetable, like you said. It just hasn't worked. Move on and just get assets. And that's why I also said trade Alex Caruso. Because I think a contender will trade for Alex Caruso if he is available.
I think so as well, but I could see him staying. I don't have him on my list. I'll also do a 2 for 1. I tried to only have one pairing. And mine were Killian Hayes because he is not only has he struggled as a player, but if someone believes in him, we're not going to be able to see his full potential in Detroit. They already have too many guards there between Ivy and Kate Cunningham and all the other Marcus Sasser and so many other players that they have that they need to move him. I don't know necessarily if anyone's interested because of how poorly he's played recently, but I think he deserves at least a chance to be on another team and see what that experience is like. Could he be a role player on another team? We don't know until he gets traded. And the other player I have is Bojan Bogdanovic. He's older statesman of the team, and he definitely does not fit the timetable that the Pistons have.
Okay, I understand Bojan. I like the Killian Hayes. I almost had him on my list, but I chose not to because I viewed it from the Pistons perspective. It's his lowest value. You're not going to get much back. And the thing is, he's a restricted free agent, so they could work out a trade with some team and get assets back. I would love it from the perspective of someone needs to trade for Killian Hayes because his value's never been lower.
Yeah, I yeah, I definitely think a move needs to happen. He's not fit for Detroit.
Yeah, and I liked there was that rumor floating today that Killian Hayes and the Grizzlies, I think that would be a pretty good fit for now and the future.
Yeah, I could see that.
It'll let him develop. But yeah, I'm high on. I think he's better than what he is right now. It's just the clog of point guards in the um, Pistons front court or no back court. My next player is Royce O'Neal. He's an unrestricted free agent. I think I mentioned contenders wanting Kuzma. I think contenders will want Royce O'Neal. I understand from the Nets' perspective, it would show that they're selling instead of maybe going all in, or just standing pat and seeing what happens. However, I think Royce O'Neal would get them a nice package, and it would help them in just getting more assets and getting players to build around Mikal Bridges.
That's a great player. I have Royce O'Neal too, mainly just for the fact that he does not fit the system that they're running at the moment. Royce O'Neal is more of a defensive. He can shoot, but he can do everything. He can kind of pass. He can kind of rebound. He can kind of score. He plays good D. That would be a great fit on. He'd be a much better fit than Taurean Prince or Jared Vanderbilt on the Lakers. He'd be a much better fit than a lot of the power forward options. I think even on the Mavs, I think he'd be better than Grant Williams or some of the other guys they have there. He is truly a contending piece. That's why he was really good for the Jazz when they were contending and the Nets when they were contending for that short period of time. And I could definitely see him get traded to the Knicks, who are dealing with injuries. I could definitely see because Julius Randle's out for a while. I could see him move there. I could see him be moved to a plethora of other teams because he is so valuable. And I think that the Nets could definitely get something out of it.
Yeah, I like the fit with the Lakers. I would love it if he came onto the Mavs, but I doubt it because I think it's going to take a lot, at least a first round pick.
Yeah.
Maybe a young player too.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We are at 3. I'm at 3. What are you at?
I'm at. You're at 3?
Yeah, I'm at 3. I had DeMar, Alex Caruso, and Royce O'Neal.
Okay, yeah, I'm at 4 because I did DeMar, Killian, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Royce O'Neal.
And then yeah, okay, cool. So I'll go with my next one. It's Patrick Beverley from the Sixers. He's on a really small contract. He's another guy because I don't see a big star needing to be traded. It's teams that are in awkward positions, such as the Sixers with Joel Embiid most likely out for the season because these might get surgery. That's a weird thing. But a contender is going to take Patrick Beverley. You can get a player, maybe develop to help you in the future. It's not going to be anything major, but it just gives you an asset for them. So that's why I was like, you need to trade Patrick Beverley.
Kevin, I never even thought of it, but I have to give you some kudos. That's a great pick because they need a center. A Paul Reed can't be the only answer. And Mo Bamba has proven to not be starter worthy in the league, and I don't know if he's necessarily backup worthy. So if you could trade Beverley and a pick for a center that could be a starter for the next 2 months or whatever until Embiid's back, I think that'd be great. I like that.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. And let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit more. What happens if you did a pick and Patrick Beverley and you called the Pistons about maybe a center?
I mean, you could do that. Get Isaiah Stewart or someone like that. You could. I could see that. You don't want to get someone that's too young or too good. Like you wouldn't want to trade for Vucevic, even though I think he barely missed my list because I think he's another guy on the Bulls that should be traded. But you want to trade for Vucevic because Vucevic is very high quality. So trading for Vooch would cost a lot, and when Embiid comes back, Vooch does not want to be on the bench. So that wouldn't really fit. You want a guy who could be moved to the bench, like Isaiah Stewart. Maybe you could call the Clippers about Plumlee. Maybe you could call. It's tough because a lot of those guys you want to see starting full time, but you couldn't call Clippers because Zubac's out. That's
Well,
right.
yeah. I was thinking Pistons, like they have, do you call about Wiseman? Maybe go for a young guy that could start now, develop a little bit, then use him as an asset in the future.
It would. I think it'd be Isaiah Stewart if those were the options.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I'll mention my next guy. Not that I think he could be traded. Maybe he could. My next guy is Clint Capella. It's not working out with the Hawks. I think Onyeka needs to be the starting center full time, and they just go with their power forward of Jalen Johnson and their Sadiq Bey off the bench. But because Jalen Johnson can grab rebounds so well, they don't really need rebounds from Capella. Maybe Capella could go to the 76ers and be their starter for a couple months and then move to the bench. I think he could be a bench center, a guy that plays 20 minutes in the playoffs and is still quality. Now, would he want to do that? That's a different question. But I do think Clint Capella needs to be traded. This Hawks experiment has not worked. I think Capella is the first one to go. I guess second one to go because John Collins was traded.
Yeah, if Glenn Capella's on the market, I know actually I would like the Mavs to trade for him because he's a guy, I think he can start now, but I think he can move to the bench in the future. And if you're the Mavs, you're trying to win now. Derek Lively is fantastic, but he's dealing with injuries. So I think because after Derek Lively, Rashawn Holmes has not worked. But that was just a shot in the dark. So I think if it doesn't take much to get Clint Capella, I think that could work for the Mavs. But I like that pick. And yeah, the Hawks are in a weird situation. I thought about putting DeJounte Murray on here, but I'm like, no, they don't need to trade him. It's just the Hawks are weird, but a Clint Capella trade would be good. Because I think he provides value as a center. That could be maybe the Clippers trade for Clint Capella. Because you mentioned Zubac. Zubac is out.
Yeah, maybe.
So my fifth guy is Evan Fournier. More from the Knicks perspective, it seems like they've moved on. I know they're dealing with injuries right now, but he's averaging about 13 minutes per game. Minutes per game. That's the lowest since his rookie year. And it says only 3 games on Basketball Reference. So I think you ship him out and you just try to get something of value because it seems like the Knicks want to have a deep playoff run.
Okay. That's another one I could see.
Yeah. Okay, so your 5 was Clint Capella, DeMar DeRozan. You had you had Killian Hayes and Bojan Bogdanovic, correct?
And Royce O'Neal like you did.
Royce O'Neal, yes. Okay, that was one. I had Royce O'Neal, DeMar DeRozan, Caruso, Beverly, and Fournier. So that's our list. I don't feel there's going to be bomb. I think it's just going to be small moves, kind of like what I had on my list. But if it'd be crazy, it'd be interesting to see where Capella ended up if the Hawks decide to move on from him.
Yeah, and the Hawks are not playing well. Like I don't know why they wouldn't just go young or at least younger. You don't have to sell, but just Capella does not fit the timeline, and I think Onyeka is better at this point.
And do you have it? There were like Tobias Harris rumors. To me, it doesn't.
Not after the injury to Embiid. Maybe before because you wanted to bolster your defense, but with Embiid out, Tobias Harris could still give you 20 points, and you need to win games. You don't want to be a 6 seed when Embiid comes back because at that point you're just really in a bad spot because you'd have to play 3 and then 2 and then 1 potentially.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's all we got. Let us know how you feel about the deadline. We'll be here to talk about it after. Hopefully something happens. We'll see. And that's all we got. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.